This video is going to guide you through using the cheat sheet included in Blackboard to help you draw a gear based on the Wellman's Odontograph using approximate arcs to draw the gear teeth. The Odontograph is found on page 735, and we'll refer to that as we get through the video. Again, I'm just going to be walking step by step right through that cheat sheet. So if you have that handy, you might as well open that up and follow along with me. And I will start out by making the construction 6-layer current. I will then draw a line. We're going to draw a 20-tooth gear and a 15-tooth pinion combo. We're going to be using a 20-degree pressure angle between the gear and the pinion. So we will start with step number 1, which is to draw a vertical and a horizontal line that will be representing the center point of the gear. There's the vertical line, and here's the horizontal line. And just to be safe, I'm going to move that midpoint right onto the midpoint of the vertical line. And now we won't make an error on the centers. All right, so now we have to draw a pitch circle, and the pitch circle is always based on the number of teeth divided by the diametral pitch. The diametral pitch of our gear and pinion combo is going to be 1. So with 20 teeth divided by the diametral pitch of 1, we need a pitch circle with a diameter of 20 or a radius of 10. And we have our pitch circle. Next is step 2. We have to draw the step 3. Draw a line through the intersection of the pitch circle and the vertical line, passing through the top quadrant of the pitch circle below horizontal at an angle equal to the pressure angle. What does all that mean? We just grab our line tool. Here's the intersection that we're talking about. We're going to go just 20 degrees below horizontal. I'm going to tab to get to the angle input and change that to 160. And I'll just hit enter because I really don't care about the length of the line. And that's our pressure angle. I will then go to step 4, draw the base circle. The base circle is going to be used to create our arcs that are going to make up our gear tooth shape. I'm going to draw a circle centered where our pitch circle is and is tangent to that base circle. Okay. That base circle is going to be the circle along which the center of our approximate arcs are going to be. We're now going to look at the odontograph on page 735, and we are going to find the number of teeth for the gear, 20, and we're going to look up the face radius and the flank radius to be used for a 20-degree pressure angle. Our face radius is 4.66. So I'm going to draw a circle that is centered right here and uses the pitch radius, or the face radius of 4.66. And where that circle intersects the base circle, I'm going to redraw that same circle with that same radius, and that passes right directly through our point of connection between our gear and our pinion. Okay. I don't need this anymore. That was a construction tool. I'll just get it out of the way. And I will now draw the flank radius the same way. I need it to pass right through this point, but I need it to be centered on the base circle. The flank radius for a 20 tooth gear with a 20-degree pressure angle is 2.51. And that's where that intersects. So if I draw another circle right there, it passes through there. I'll delete this. I don't need it anymore. And this smaller circle, the lower half of it, is the bottom half of our tooth, and the larger circle, the upper half of it, is the upper half of our tooth. Now what we have to do is define our height and depth of the tooth, and that's based on the addendum and the dedendum. If we check the chart in the book, with a diametral pitch of 1, we have to offset our pitch circle 1 unit, because that's what it is, 1 divided by the diametral pitch, so 1 divided by 1 is 1. And that becomes the outer gear diameter. And then I offset the pitch circle inwards, 1.25 divided by the diametral pitch of 1, so I simply offset by 1.25. Towards the inside, and that's the bottom of our tooth. Now let's trim up our gear tooth a little bit. We will trim between the outer diameter and the pitch circle, the face radius, that's the bigger circle. I'll trim out in between here and then here, and that leaves us what we need there. And then I'll trim out between the pitch circle, and in this case we'll trim out between the pitch circle and the base circle. You would always trim out between the pitch circle and the base circle, or the pitch circle and the root circle, whichever one has the greatest diameter. In this case, the root circle has the greater, the base circle has the greater diameter, so we'll trim with it, and I'll trim that in between there and then here, and there is the beginnings of the side of our tooth. Now we have to draw a line down from the bottom of our flank radius towards the center, and we just draw perpendicular, and that means the same as going towards the center. And we have that, and then we have to put a little bit of a fillet right here, and the fillet is sized based on the distance or the difference between the addendum offset and the dedendum offset, which in our case was 1/4, and we take that times 1.5, so 0.25 times 1.5 is 0.375, so I will do a fillet with a radius of 0.375, and that gives us our radius that really defines the left side of our tooth. And let's check back with our chart here and see how far, or our cheat sheet list. We've done all the trimming. We have, we're on to the second page already. We've drawn the fillet. Now what we want to do is move the face radius, the flank radius, the line connecting the flank radius to the root circle, and the root fillet radius to the object layer. We'll just pick this, pick this, pick the short little line, and pick the small fillet, and put those on the object layer. And that's what we need to do. Now, we're going to use the array tool to get that half for all of the gears, or excuse me, for all of the teeth. And we will array, we will array polarly these 4 objects around the center point. And we will change the number of items to 20. And we will turn off associative so that we can handle each of these objects individually if we choose to. Close the array, and we're very close to being done already. Now what we want to do is realize that we've got half of the tooth. We need the other half of the tooth. And we're going to trim between the face radius of the first tooth and the face radius of the second tooth we're going to trim that pitch circle. And what you may have picked up in the reading is the fact that our pitch circle, or the distance between the gear teeth, is the exact same distance as the thickness of the gear tooth. So if I were to use my break command to break this thing at the first point, being at the midpoint, and just break off this half, that defines the width of our tooth. And you can see that the gap between there to there will be the opening between our teeth. So now what I'm going to do is mirror these object lines again to get the other half of the tooth. And we're going to mirror that around the midpoint towards the center. Again, perpendicular gets me towards the center. And there's that half of the tooth. No, I don't want to erase the source objects. Now we need this little bit and we need that little bit. So we'll trim between here and here and between the fillets. We'll get rid of that and we'll get rid of that. And we will put these two objects onto the object layer. And now we will array the other half of the tooth and the outer diameter and the inner diameter arcs. And just like that, around the center 20 times, we have drawn our gear. Now we have to draw the pinion, and we decided on a 15-tooth pinion gear. The distance between gear and pinion center will be equal to the pitch radius of the gear and the pitch radius of the pinion. The pitch radius of the gear is 10. The pitch radius of the pinion is 7.5, or half of 15. So I will offset my horizontal center line 17.5. And there's where the center of my 15-tooth gear is going to go. And let's do some cleanup work here. I'm going to bring this center line up with grips a little bit further than what I need it. And I'm going to bring my pressure angle by gripping this and using the lengthen option and just pulling this in this direction a little ways. And now I will do that exact same process again. I won't talk our way through every step. I'll mumble here and there, but you guys are used to that. I will draw a circle at the center point with a radius of 7.5. Passes right through there. I will draw the base circle at the same center point, which is tangent to the pressure angle. That is the circle that defines our center locations for our flank radius and face radius that we're going to pull from the odontograph on 735. For a 15-tooth gear, we need a face radius of 3.76. So I will draw a circle right here with a radius of 3.76. Where that falls on there, I draw the exact same circle. And you can see it passes right through our tangency point. I don't need this anymore. And then I will draw a circle representing the flank radius of 1.75. And where that intersects our base circle, that creates the center point. And now we've got what we need there. We'll trim. We will do our offset for the addendum, again, is 1. So I'll take my pitch circle and offset it 1. I'll take my pitch circle and offset it the dedendum, which is still 1.25. And there we have it. And then I will trim between the pitch circle and the addendum, the larger circle. And I will trim between the pitch circle and, in our case again, the base circle, the smaller diameter. And we've got the shape of our gear tooth there. Again, I got to draw a line from the flank radius towards the center to the root circle. I have to create that fillet, which still has that radius of 0.375. And we've got that side of the gear tooth now. Pick and zoom in a little bit so I can see it better. And pick. And we'll put these onto the object layer. And we will now array those objects 15 times around this center. We will trim between the face radii, the pitch circle. We will break off using the midpoint as the first point and just going past the edge. Now we've got a line whose midpoint we can use to mirror the other half of the tooth. Mirror that around this midpoint towards perpendicular to there. And you can see we've got the other half of our gear tooth. No, we don't want to erase that. We will trim between face radii. We will trim between, we will trim between the fillets along the root. We'll put these two objects onto the object layer, and we will array once again the top, the face, the flank, the line, the fillet, and the root around the center, and we will do that 15 times. And close the array. And we've got our gear combo. If we want to clean things up a little bit, let's trim our center lines and replace some center lines. Let's do a offset of our, let's draw a line that is, instead of 7.5 to the pitch, let's go to 9. And let's draw another circle. Instead of to 10 for the pitch, let's go to 11.5. And then let's trim with those. Trim that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And we'll get rid of those. Those were just trimming tools. Okay. We're going to zoom in here. We're going to get rid of this and that. They need to really become the whole circle. Those are our pitch circles for the two different gears, the gear and the pinion. So I'll delete them, and I will draw a circle. I will draw a circle centered here, and I could either type in a 10 or just pick this intersection, and then draw a circle here, centered there, and pick that intersection. And now I'll put this and this in the pitch circle. Well, not that. Shift pick to unpick that. The pitch circle and the pitch circle and this horizontal line. We'll put them on the center line layer. And we'll get out of here. Zoom out and make a different layer current, such as object, and then turn off our construction layer. And there is your gear and pinion combo based on our cheat sheet that's included in Blackboard. Good enough.